Hey guys, what's up? Crazy Kae-len back again with another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you all how to max out your Yoda. Now, Yoda's no easy grind, so you're going to have to put in the effort and the hours. But if you use some of the strats and tips given in this video, I can guarantee that it will make your max level grind much easier. It worked for me, so it will work for you too. Alright, so before you start trying to max out your Yoda, you'll need to know his playstyle first. Yoda is a lot harder to play as than other Saber heroes, so it can take a while to get used to, but once you do get used to his playstyle, you can do very well as him. Yoda isn't a crowd control hero, and he can struggle a lot fighting big groups of enemies if you don't know how to use him effectively. You should try to be sneaky as Yoda, sneaking around the map and behind enemies to kill them off individually rather than attempting to fight large groups by yourself. If you're forced into any situation where you have to fight a big group of enemies, use your unleash if you have it, before getting out of there as fast as you can. Don't attempt to fight them all with only your lightsaber, as you'll be turned into Sarlacc soup faster than Order 66 got executed. Yoda's swing speed is a lot longer than other Saber heroes. Whenever you swing with him, he will do a little jump attack, which can take a lot longer to do than with other Saber heroes. This can lead to you taking a lot of unnecessary damage while you attack someone. You can, however, avoid doing this. If you lead into all your attacks by jumping first and then swinging while in the middle of your jump, Yoda won't have to do his little jump attack animation, and this can therefore lead to you getting kills faster and easier, while taking less damage. This will help you a lot, so definitely try to learn how to do that. However, if you try to repeat a jump just the second you land after another jump, it won't let you and will just make you normally attack. So make sure to wait for a brief time after the last jump to do it again. This same tip applies to Yoda's presence. He has a brief activation animation while using it, but if you make sure to do a small jump while activating it, you skip the activation animation, which will save you time and health, as you'll be more likely to get shot while sitting still rather than jumping around. You can also dash and use presence in the middle of a dash to get rid of the activation animation. Before using your unleash, you always want to charge it up first. For those of you who don't know how to charge up Yoda's unleash, you can do this by blocking blaster shots or lightning from Count Dooku or Palpatine. This makes Yoda's unleash more powerful for more shots it blocks, and can therefore get you more kills the longer you charge it up. You only want to use Yoda's unleash after charging it up, as it's pretty much useless otherwise, dealing only a tiny amount of damage. You should also only save it for when there's a big group of enemies and not just one or two, because if you use it for a small amount of enemies, then you're going to regret that a few seconds later when a big group of enemies comes towards you and you have no unleash. I've learnt this the hard way too many times, and it isn't fun. Trust me. Something else to remember is that Yoda's presence ability can get him and all nearby teammates out of abilities such as Vader's and Morty's choke, and any stun abilities. You should always try to remember this when you're caught in a choke or stun, as it can really help you and get you out of tough situations. If you're fighting a Saber hero, you should try to remember that your dash attack can go through their block, but be careful when using this, as co-op AI usually parry Yoda's dash attack, so you take damage from doing it, while dealing less damage to them. While fighting enemy Saber heroes, you need to constantly stay on your toes and be dashing behind them to get hits in. This is the best way for Yoda to fight Saber heroes, because if you just try to fight them normally, you're going to lose quickly. For Yoda, while in co-op, there are 3 star cards that you should always be running. These cards are Agility, Jedi Mentor, and Feel the Force. Agility gives Yoda 1 extra dash attack, while increasing his ability recharge rate for it. While it does increase the recharge rate for Yoda's dash attack, it's only by 10% once the card is fully maxed out. The 10% increased recharge rate is barely ever noticeable, and the extra dash has really come in handy for me many times. This card is definitely worth getting, despite the slightly increased recharge rate. Jedi Mentor gives Yoda 8% damage reduction at all times. While it might not seem like much, 8% damage reduction can really come in handy many more times than you think, and can really be the difference between life and death sometimes. If my math is correct, which it most likely isn't, this essentially gives Yoda 56 more health, giving him a total of 756 health essentially. Again, this may not seem like much, but 56 health can really be the difference between life and death more times than you may think. Feel the Force adds 60 extra health onto Yoda's presence. This means that instead of getting the usual extra 150 health from presence, Yoda will instead get 210 health from his presence ability. This star card definitely makes you feel a bit safer after using your presence, and it can keep you alive much longer. An extra 60 health presence really does help a lot of the time and can get you out of some tough situations. This star card is worth getting, and I have found it very useful for me while during my max Yoda grind. If you don't like one of these star cards or want to swap one of them for a different star card, another star card that I think is very good in co-op is Earned It I Have. This star card increases the area of effect of Yoda's Unleash while absorbing blaster shots by 30%. It can help you to get a lot more kills with your Unleash, and if you use it correctly, it can definitely be a very strong star card. The only reason I didn't recommend it over the other ones is because the other star cards have better benefits and are better to use in any situation. While Earned It I Have can only really be used in specific situations with large group of enemies, and even without this star card, Yoda's Unleash is still pretty strong. Right, today we're going to be talking about 4 maps to keep this video short and sweet. These maps are Kamino, Felucia, Kessel, and Death Star 2. The reason that we want these maps is because they all provide really good XP and suit Yoda's playstyle. On Kamino, you'll want to get Yoda on the first phase. Try to defend it until there's 1 minute on the clock, at which point you should fall back and let the AI capture it. You should stay just hidden behind the doors to the spawn points where the enemies come from, so that as soon as a big clump of enemies come out that door, you can destroy them all quickly and get a lot of kills. Let them see you and shoot at you so you can charge up your Unleash. Make sure to use it once all of them have come out the door and are all in front of your Unleash. After using it, dash attack through the remaining enemies to kill them. You can do this at both doors and collect quite a couple kills from it. After the first phase, on the second phase, it's your choice which command post you want to go to. They both have around the same number of enemies going to each, so whichever one you go to doesn't really matter. This is the same for most of the command posts on most maps, so whichever one you go to doesn't matter, and you can pick which one you want to go to. Once at the command post, sit behind the Republic gunship at the back and wait for the enemies to gather at the command post. Once a big group has gathered there, jump on top of a gunship and onto the wing facing the enemies, and use your Unleash on them, after charging it up of course. Keep doing this until it becomes time to fall back again. On the third phase, things can get pretty hectic, so you can pick up a few kills. A few good spots you can stand to pick up a few good amount of kills are just behind the door facing into the hallway, behind any of the doors inside Objective B, just behind the wall at Objective A facing outside, or underneath the stairs near A, so you can dash out from behind them when new enemies show up and you can destroy them quickly. On the final phase, staying in the hallway to get kills when the enemies spawn is the best way to get kills and XP, because if you just stay at the command post, your teammates are going to kill most of the enemies coming through the hallways towards it, and all your AI teammates are already at the command post, so you're drastically reducing the amount of kills you'll get. Whichever hallway you want to stay at is up to you, but you should hide behind the wall until the enemies spawn and are in range for you to dash out and use a big Unleash on them. If you can see the other side is having trouble with enemies, don't try to run all the way around like a normal person. Just run out of the objective and through this little hallway to the other hallway. If you run fast enough and don't get slowed down by enemies, you'll make it, and it is much shorter than running the whole way around. Defend this phase until the very end and rack up all the kills you can get on the final phase. If you get pushed back to the objective, just hold your ground there and try to still get as many kills as you can without dying and while contesting the command post. If you can do this all game, you'll get lots of kills and XP and will walk out of the game a very happy Yoda. Now, Felucia may not fit Yoda's playstyle as much as the other 3 maps I'm talking about, but trust me, if you know how to play as Yoda on this map, you can do extremely well. Felucia is one of Yoda's best maps in terms of kills and XP, even though you can struggle to get the hang of playing on this map, and that tank on the final phase can annoy the hell out of any players, even a maxed Yoda like myself. On Felucia, you should spawn as Yoda on the first base so that you can get that extra 3000 capture XP. On the second phase, you should try to head up to B through this route. Coming up through the main route will leave you more vulnerable and open to being shot, and you have people shooting at you from both sides. Coming to B through this route means you are coming at the enemies from behind, so they're less likely to notice you, and also you're only open to being attacked from one side. If you want to go to A, however, you should try to go around the hut and attack it from behind. After you've secured the command post, go to one of the 2 spawn locations for the battle droids. From here, you have a good view over the whole area, and your unleashed range covers the whole spot. This means that you can kill all the enemies running up the hill towards you. If you want to, you can also go to this spot next to the hut at B and get a quick unleash here. It's out of the objective though, so you'll have to do it quickly. Keep unleashing the enemies as they spawn and run towards you while you capture the command post. On the third phase, you should go to B as command post A is more open and you're more vulnerable to being shot and taking damage there. Also, the enemy heroes are more likely to go to A, and they don't go to B as much. If you've taken out all the battle droids at B and are bored, however, if you want to go to A, go ahead. Make your way safely to the slope heading up towards A, eliminating any battle droids you encounter along the way. There can be a few battle droids in this mid-section between A and B, but just make sure that there aren't any there or that the ones that were there have been taken out before going to A, because being halfway up the slope and starting to get shot in the back isn't a fun experience. Once you get to A, observe the situation. If there are too many battle droids for you to handle, you should leave. However, if you think you can handle it, stay and try to eliminate all the battle droids and capture the command post. On the final phase, because of a tank, you don't want to go rushing into the command post. Before running into the command post, you need to wait for your teammates to take out the tank. Don't try to destroy it yourself, you'll die. While you wait for the tank, come up to this spot and use your unleash quickly before jumping down again. If you stay up here for too long, the tank will lock onto you and begin shooting at you. A bad situation. So make sure to get in, use your unleash and get out as quickly as possible. After the tank has been destroyed, jump down and go crazy on the rest of the battle droids. Then just guard the battle droid spawns until your teammates capture the objective. You won't get any capture on XP on this phase, so there's no point in sitting on the objective. Just let your teammates do the capturing while you do the killing. On Death Star 2, you want to spawn in on the first phase. Go to command post A or B and get as many kills as you can while you wait for the capture. Just make sure that you're on the objective for the capture so that you can get more XP. On phase 2, you want to lead in with a big unleash. After using your unleash, evaluate whether you think there's too many enemies to take out single-handedly or enough for you to take out single-handedly. If there are too many enemies for you to take out single-handedly, fall back and wait for your unleash to regen. If there is enough for you to take out single-handedly, you should finish them off with your saber swings. After taking out the command post, you should go to the other command post to help out. Once both command posts are cleared, wait here for the next wave of enemies to spawn so that you can kill them with your unleash. Just wait here and get unleash kills until the phase is captured. On the third phase, you should go to Objective B, as there are usually more enemies there, and therefore more kills to be earned. If the number of enemies at B prove to be too much, you can always head over to A. Try to keep poking your head into the area, blocking a few shots and releasing your unleash. This is a good strategy for if there are a lot of enemies, as you won't be running into the middle of the area and taking heaps of damage. Instead, you'll be gradually reducing the enemy numbers and getting lots of kills and XP. After you've secured B, head over to A and make sure everything is fine there. You can then harvest from the enemy spawns until the objective is captured. On the final phase, you don't want to rush into action and try to take the command post straight away. This will get you killed pretty quickly. Instead, you want to wait for the enemy numbers to be reduced before rushing in. You can still pop in and let out an unleash whenever you get it, but don't get too overconfident and try to single-handedly take the objective. Wait for your teammates to reduce the enemy numbers until there's enough for you to handle that dying. Then go berserker mode on them. If you can, leave an enemy underneath the stairs to keep contesting the command post, and try to get your teammates to not kill them. If this happens, you can get an infinitely contested command post, and can keep collecting kills from the enemy spawn up here, while one of their soldiers keeps the command post in overtime by hiding under the stairs and contesting it. If you can't do this, however, just let your teammates capture the command post while you collect kills from the enemy spawn at the front. By the end of the Death Star 2, you can get quite a fair amount of kills and XP as Yoda, if you remain careful and cautious, being careful to not run recklessly into the command post and getting yourself killed in an instant. Right, the final map I'm mentioning in this video, Kessel. On Kessel, just like with every other map, you again want to spawn on the first phase, as the enemies would usually be dead by the time you spawn in as Yoda. Just sit on whichever command post is closest to being captured and capture it for the extra capture XP. If any enemies spawn while you are doing this, quickly kill them before getting back on the objective for the capture. On the second phase, try to clear the hallways first and make sure there are no enemies in them. After doing this, head on to which command post you feel like and kill the enemies there. After all the enemies have been killed, sit in the hallway outside A and wait for the next wave of enemies to come around the corner so you can kill them. Keep getting kills here until the command post is captured. On the third phase, try to slowly claim Objective A. Don't rush in straight away, because like with the Death Star 2, your chance of dying from this is very high. Once all the enemies at Objective A are dead, there will usually be an enemy or two stuck in between these two crates right here. Make sure to kill them, as they are pretty much a free kill. After having taken Objective A, fight your way around the corner to B. Make sure to kill anyone who stands in your way, because if you choose to leave them and run past them, you will regret that in the next 5 seconds when they begin shooting at your back. After having claimed both the command posts, capture them and head on to the final phase. Whichever direction you take into this phase is fine, though I'd say to lead in from the slope facing down onto the command post. From here, you get a good unleash angle down on the whole command post area and are relatively protected, compared to being on an equal level as the command post. From this spot, wait for the enemies to see you and charge up your unleash, before using it to take them all out. There might be an enemy through this doorway stuck in the pipe. If there is, don't fall for it. Don't try to kill the enemy. You'll get stuck in the pipe and die from being out of the objective. I've learned this the hard way too many times. After the objective is clear, head up to this spot near the enemy spawn and camp here until they spawn. When they do, immediately charge up and use your unleash. Follow this up by using your dash attack into and then out of the group of enemies, and then finishing off the surviving ones with your lightsaber. This will effectively kill all the enemies that have just spawned, or leave very few remaining. Head back to where you just were and repeat the process until your teammates capture the objective and you win the game. So that is how to effectively and efficiently max out your Yoda as fast as possible. I know I may have missed a few good maps for Yoda, but my newer plan for these how to max videos is to only show at maximum 4 maps. This will make sure that my videos aren't as long and people don't get bored while watching them. This was my own expert advice, having maxed out Yoda myself. However, if you feel there's something that I've missed out or that my strategies could be improved, be sure to let me know and try them out in your own Yoda grind. I hope that this has helped some of you and that you can now be on your way to maxing out Yoda. I also really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!